Good morning. Uh, Hope you're all doing well. I have already started off this morning pretty well. Uh, I'd got up earlier, didn't realize it was around 6 o'clock or whatever. Um, but I let the dog out for a minute, and as soon as I let her out, it started pouring rain. I let her back in. We went back to sleep for a little while. But it didn't rain that long. It's like it was pouring, and then I let her in. We got back into bed, and then it was done. I was hoping it was going to rain more. I think we do have more rain coming, of course. I think it's just been working its way through. Like it's coming from whatever's been going off on down in the Gulf. I know the other day some people have told me in the lower area of Alabama they were having a bunch of rain, and like I think in some areas of Florida or something, and then there's a hurricane brewing out that way or something in the ocean. But this morning I was reading from this. I get these little things called turning points. Like this one's titled "God in the Details." The Psalm 139 challenge. I've already read this. This was for the month of March. But, a lot of these things, like, they'll come in and I might not read them right off. I'll just throw them, I stack them up, and then at some point I'm like, let me read these. Even if I'm not on the month that it came out, it's still, you can relate to it. I think anything that's got, whether it be Christian based or whatever, but anything spiritually based, I think you can do that. Like, it doesn't have to be read. Like some things, like this one specific deals with this booklet deals with a challenge of reading the whole book of Psalms, I think, for an entire, I don't remember it, not the whole book, but the 139, memorizing it and taking a whole month to try to get it memorized and stuff. And I haven't took the challenge yet. I did start, and then I started reading it every day, and then for a few days, and I just have, as y'all know, I have a lot that goes on. Not really a lot compared to most people, but to me it's a lot. On any given day, I never know what I'm doing. But this morning I was reading, it was called Trench Art, and I thought I'd share this with you guys. Whether you believe or not, I think you may get something out of it. And I know there's a lot of people here that do believe and have their own understanding with God and communicate in their own way and everything. And I think that's special. That's each person's unique, and each person should have their own personal relationship with what the divine is. And that's just my opinion. I don't think people have the right to be shoving things down anybody's throat. If I tell you about it and you don't respond and want to receive it, then I'm not going to waste more energy I'm not trying to convince you anything, because most people already know this stuff, or they can continue to not believe, and that's fine with me. I don't care. Like, as long as they don't interfere in my life. I've had plenty of friends in my life that were atheists or believed they didn't believe, or I've known people that were, I've been in all sorts of social type of settings and groups, and I've had many different people from different walks of life, from being gay to being Christian to being Muslim. I've been friends with Muslims, atheists, Satanists. I mean, now, of course, some of the people that claim to be Satanists weren't really necessarily Satanists. They just were interested in it, like they had read the different texts that they wrote. But usually when I'm meeting them and they're talking about it at some point, they kind of eventually start not associating and calling themselves that anymore. And it ain't because of me. It's just, I think through their own studies, they figure it out that, hey, this ain't for me. This is, more power to whoever. But I'm here to just share this and be open about my relationship with how I see things and how I understand it and how, anyway. So let me read this, and then if it's not going on too long, I may share something I was thinking about on my walk with the dog this morning. This is called Trench Art. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. During World War I, peasants would sometimes inspect recent battlefields, looking for shell casings, spent bullets, and bomb fragments. They would assemble them into items for their home. One woman in Washington State has a large collection of these decorative and practical items. Her curio cabinet displays items like salt and pepper shakers, candlesticks, and vases made from leftover fragments of war. It's got a recommended reading. Isaiah 61, 1 through 3. Of course, I don't know this stuff by memory, but I have recently, in the past few months, read the book of Isaiah. I'm just kind of slowly going through things, rediscovering what, how I'm rereading things from Scripture that I hadn't read in forever. I go through long periods of time where I will study it, and pretty intensively, and then I just don't even... That's why I keep a copy around, because the true word for me is within me and with me. And if I listen to that word, I'm okay. But I do have to study sometimes from this book, and that's an actual book of a bunch of books. And then I'd study from other different areas of stuff, different literature. It's not always Christian. Y'all know that anyway. But I don't think, like I said, I'm not here to convert nobody to anything. I'm here to share, and hopefully maybe if you haven't had a relationship with the divine, the great spirit in the sky, maybe you'll develop one day through watching some of what I do share. I'm just doing my little bit. So let's continue. For most of us, our life contains broken pieces. Life is a battlefield. Paul told Timothy to wage the good warfare. That's from 1 Timothy 1:18, which I read that recently too. I couldn't tell you when. None of us escape without incurring some wounds, but God can use these to bring glory to Himself. He takes the fragments of pain, the scraps of sadness, the chunks of disappointment. In His hands, these can become the means by which we learn to trust Him and to comfort others. Give the broken pieces of your life to the Lord and let Him create some trench art. He does all things well, and He makes everything beautiful in His time. And then at the bottom you have from the Turning Point, I guess it might be something that works for them or something, but it says, even though you might look at parts of your life as ugly or shameful, God can make all those things work together for your good and His glory. The God of hope is making all things beautiful at His time. And that was that's a quote from a person, or she wrote it for this Turning Point magazine, called Karen Whiting. What I'm thinking is she might have been the one that wrote this particular one for this day, because this was for Tuesday, March 7th. But anyway, on my walk this morning with Lady Bird, on my way back, I was thinking about what I said yesterday. Let me remember real quick. I was talking about that questioning things for me, and it strengthens my faith in what it is that I know. The way that the divine spirit speaks to me is, it's like early in life, like I've mentioned before, that I was 25 when a lot of stuff started coming fast and hard, like answers to questions I'd had since I'd been probably 4 years old. Because sometimes I tell people it was a blessing and a curse, because imagine being 4 years old and asking these big questions and adults not knowing how to answer them. I mean, questions about the God thing and the universe and how everything got created and who created the creator and just stuff like that. Nobody can answer it. And, so that just drove me wild growing up, But in my youth, up until 6th grade, I did go to a lot of different churches. I went to a Methodist church with my grandmother, Luna Lemming, on my dad's side. Luna was a great, wise lady. I don't want to mention what she really was, but let's just say she was good with fixing things with certain concoctions and herbal remedies, but she was also a member of the Methodist Church. But she just couldn't vocally, let's just say nobody knew what she truly had knowledge of. She had a lot of wisdom about a lot of things. And some people might have labeled her a certain word, but that was not Luna. Luna was a very good, loving person, a very wise person, very smart. Anyway, my point being is, and then I went, to Church of God with my next door neighbors for a year or two when I was really young, when we first moved in. I went to Baptist church. I went all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But I've been to some Muslim mosques and, one, a really small one in Morganton, North Carolina. But I became friends with a Muslim, and I'll tell you, I don't believe that all of Muslims are out to destroy every single person. That could be true, but I don't know. I'm more likely to believe that we should be more concerned about the powers that be. You know what I mean? The powers that be that think they're in control of everything, that believe they're God. That's what we should be concerned about. And I believe that in a certain time, many different people from many different cultures and different religions will reunite under one cause, because they have to fight back and not let it happen. But it's still going to happen in its own way, and it'll be fixed eventually, and we'll have like a new beginning, and everything it's kind of like everything kick starts back over and everything. I'm not sure of all the details. All I know is my role here in this time frame. I do know quite a bit about my role. I just can't share as much as I used to about it, because I have been informed, and I am starting to learn a lot better. You can't blab about what God has planned for you all the time, because then certain people out there that are trying to find more about the great overall divine plan that people are involved with are seeking to deceive you. They may sit there and listen to you and agree with you and all that, but the whole time you're revealing too much information about certain details that you've been revealed. And I'm learning better how to go about it. All I can say is that one of my parts, I can say this, is one of my parts is like doing stuff like this channel, just sharing my life, sharing my readings, which I haven't done in a while, sharing from other sources like The Way of the Wizard, Living a Life of Awareness, occasionally sharing some Christian literature or something from the Bible, sharing my thoughts about life, how I'm handling life. I just hope that I can be a beacon for other lost souls. Like I'd like to be the one that when you're having a bad day, you can come to this channel and leave with a smile. Even if I'm got a video up where I'm not in the greatest moods, you can at least relate to me, and you can see that I'm a real human being. Well, I'm a real spirit inside this physical body. Whether you believe I'm a spirit or not, that's your problem. I don't want to get too crazy out there about where I know I know where I came from and know where I'm going. I told you yesterday I'm going home. I will be returning home eventually, but you don't go home till the deal is done, unless you fall off the plan and don't move towards it. That's why I quit drinking last year. Well, I did mess up last week, but part of the reasoning for sobering up is so that I can get on with what I should have been doing like 10, 15. Heck, I probably, from the time I was 25 by 30, I should have probably been I was on the path, but I just was not doing it properly, because I will say that I had been told that by 40 that I was expected to slow down. And let me tell you, just a year or two before 40, I was shown that if I didn't slow down, I was going to be slowed down. And that was the first incident when I broke my kneecap. And then around 40 or a little after, that's when I was diagnosed with the Charcot foot, which is a degenerative disease. And then you go on up, what was it? In 2016, I believe, I had the back surgery, and that was an ordeal. That was another reminder of me to slow it down. Like, it didn't matter. If I wasn't going to slow down, my boss was going to slow me down. It was either slow down and get with the program, or we got to move on and find somebody else, because you can't be doing it this way, lollygagging. And so finally that led up to last year with me finally really starting to groove in the right way. And I know that I've been placed here in Alabama for some specific reasons. I don't know a lot of the details about that, but this area I'm in is very central and important for some reason. Now, part of the way things work is that not everybody has all the details. It's a need-to-know basis. So there's other people that are in accordance to everything that I'm even part of that I don't even know yet, that just can't tell all of the details they have, but they know. Some people know more about it than others. Other people know less, and sometimes that's good because it's for the safety of all. You know, I'm just telling you. That's why they've been. I've been monitored for quite a few years, probably 20-something years. I know I have, and I let them know that I know they've watched me over the years. Ever since internet became so prominent, I've never, I never was very concerned about what I did say or didn't say or whatever. I knew somebody was watching, whether, anybody else believed it or not. A lot of people are starting to wake up and realize it now. So, I've never bothered to have a VPN or some shit, or pardon the language there. Funny, I'm talking about God and everything. But I told you yesterday I'm working on it. But you get what I'm saying? I don't think you're going to have to really have some good technology to cloak yourself, I don't think if they really want to find you online, they're going to find you no matter how well you think you're masked. So for me, it's better for me to just be wide open out in the open. And a lot of times I do know that they know there's something here, but they also think I'm crazy. And I'd rather the majority of what they're observing, they're just checking off as nonsense. That's the way I want it. That's the way even if they're watching this, they can see me saying this and they can just dismiss it as nobody's going to pay attention to it. That's fine with me. So until next time, this is going on almost 20 minutes. We've got an 18-minute video here. It's going to take a while to upload. But hey, you know what? The Spirit moved me this morning. Like I keep saying, I enjoy the people that even watch that. I get comments sometimes of someone, letting me know they don't believe, or they don't necessarily have hope. They're a pessimist, and that's fine. It's on, I'm glad that you watch me. Like if you have a different mind frame, I'm glad you watch me, because it shows me that something I'm saying is resonating. It doesn't mean you have to understand everything I'm doing here, but I appreciate that you stick around. You know what I mean? That maybe that's the kind of communication I'm used to. It's being able to be friends with all sorts of people. As long as we're not stepping on each other's toes, I ain't got no problem, man. I love everybody. So until next time, Mr. Cloud, Sage the Eternal Moment, over and out. Ditto.